Hi guys, so today I want to go over converting percents to decimals to fractions, or the other way around, decimals to fractions and percents. So let's start with decimal to fraction and also to percent. Okay, so that's what we're going to convert it to. Sorry, you can't even see that. Alright, so if I have the decimal 1.71, 1 and 71 hundredths, right? This is my number. A decimal is just a number, right? I can convert this to a fraction pretty easily because I know that 1 is a whole because it's left of the decimal point. All of those numbers are whole numbers. So I have 1 whole of something. Anything to the right of the decimal is going to be my numerator. It's the part. So I have 1 whole and 71 out of something. Well, I said this was 1 and 71 hundredths. I look at the last digit's place value, and this digit's place value is in the hundredths place. So I know that this is going to be 1 and 71 hundredths. Okay? So for percent, it's a little different because percent, we know per means part, and cent means 100, right? So percent means part of 100. A decimal is a number. A percent is not technically a number. It's a part of 100. So in order to convert a decimal to a percent, I need to multiply it by 100. Whenever I multiply anything by 100, all I'm doing is I'm moving the decimal point to the right. I see that there are 2 zeros here, right? So I'm going to move the decimal place 2 places to the right, because the 100 has 2 zeros, okay? Just like if I were to multiply this by 10, I would only move it 1 place value to the right. So now my new percent is 171%. So what if I wanted to calculate percent to decimal to fraction? So if I had a percent, if I started with that, and I'm trying to go to decimal to fraction, what do I do? Okay, so if I have a percent, let's say I have 21.021%. For some reason, it looks like this. Okay? In order to convert this into a decimal, what I do is I do the opposite of what I would do to convert a decimal to a percent. When I was converting a decimal to percent, I was multiplying by 100. If I'm going from percent to decimal, I divide by 100. So here I'm going to go 21.021, okay, divided by 100. Dividing by 100 is the same thing as multiplying by 100, except when I'm dividing, my decimal place is, instead of going 2 places to the right, it's going 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So now my new answer for the decimal is 0.21021. So for the fraction, this is where it's hard. I do not have a whole number, right? I do have a fraction. What I can do is I can look at this digit right here. This is in the hundredths place. So I'm going to write 100, and I'm going to write 21. And then because this is where I'm ending, right, I'm going to put a decimal, and I'll make it 21.021 out of 100. Because I know that the percent is this out of 100 anyway. So I can write 21.021 over 100. Just like here, if I had looked at this, I could have written as 1 and 71 over 100, or I could have written it as 171 over 100. Both of these would have been correct. And so this is also correct, okay? Or this would also be correct. 21.021, and I know that this is 100, right? Then I just add a 0 for each next digit, so it's 100 thousand. So I could have it like this too. But I feel like this one right here probably makes the most sense. Go ahead and practice this. If you have any questions, you can ask me or your partners.